Hey guys, welcome back out to the garage. Today what I want to do is kind of a quick video. Some of you may remember from past videos where I was doing that challenge for the 450 CFM intake port on an iron 4V Cleveland head. Okay, I haven't messed with it in a while, been pretty busy around here. So I went ahead and just did nothing heavy, just went in there and did some more, just try to clean it up more and see what we can get. It is a slow process to do this whole thing. So um, I think the last time when we stopped here, we were at like 366 or 367 at 700 inch lift. So I'm gonna go ahead and use clay this time and do it at 700 inch lift. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go with 800 because we're gonna get to that point where it'll probably work a lot easier with just the 800 inch lift, and then see what that number comes up with. And just like always, if you've seen the past videos or my old YouTube, it's real hard to see this, all this liquid moving up here. It's not digital, so, and we have to calculate with the calculator. When I get my numbers, I'll move the camera up so you can see me punch it in on the calculator. But I am thinking, it's after, I don't know, 30 something years of using this flow bench, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go ahead and change all the hoses and the liquid and everything so it's much brighter. Okay, then maybe we can get a better look at this stuff. But until then, I'm just gonna have to watch it and then write it down like I've done in past videos, the numbers, and then use the cheat sheet that I cross over with, and then calculate it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just do that. All right, I didn't grab a pen. Well, I have a pen. Let me grab a piece of paper. Yeah, here's, in fact, I'll use this paper here. This is when we first started. Okay, so this is months old. It was 288 CFM at 700, and this was months ago. Okay, when we started, I forgot I had it sitting up there. I'll just go ahead and write the numbers on the back of this. And like I say, you just have to kind of bear with me. It's a lot cooler if you had a Superflow 600 or something like that. It's all bright, digital, and it's really neat. But again, old school over here in the garage. I've been using this bench for a long time. So let's just go ahead and flow this. I am going to move the camera up because I have it on 0 right now up here. That way you can count with me the lift that we're doing. Alright, so I will move that forward. Anyway, okay, let's see if this will work out. It's very hot out here in the garage. That's why I'm talking so fast. Okay, you can see this is free. Nothing's moving as far as the needle. I gotta switch hands here. So let's go ahead and go 700 inch lift first. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, you can definitely see it smashed that checker spring down pretty good. All right, so let me move the camera out of the way. All right, and I'll go ahead and turn the machine on, and I'll jot down the numbers, and then we'll calculate. Can you see that calculator in there? I gotta change this calculator too. It's old and the buttons are kind of weird. So then we calculate it here. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we get. that, and I'll show you how this all works. Is that in there? Let me see. So 4.1 on that scale there, 67 and a half. It was just going over 67, so we can probably go 67 and 67 and a half, maybe get an average, and 215 as our flow rate. So we'll go ahead, and that's at 700 lift, okay? All right, so the 4.1, I have to calculate it over off of this sheet here. So I scroll down until I find 4.1, and it's 2.612. So the 4.1 is actually 2.612. Because those kind of numbers ain't on a scale like that. Okay, so we just have to multiply that number by the percentage by the flow rate. Or any way you want to do it, just got to multiply them in there. So let me carry this back over here. Okay, let me turn this on. Okay, there's the 0. So we got 2.6, well, let's just do the 215 is the flow rate. So we have 215 times, then we have 2.612. 2 point, kind of hard to look through a camera and push these buttons, 612, there it is, times the percentage, which was 0.67 and a half. 0.67 and a half equals 379.06. Okay, so let's just go ahead and let me write that down real quick. So it was 379.06. And we were at, like I say, the last video that I did on this test was like 366, 67. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, let's see, clear that, use the same numbers. So I never like to really cheat myself, as you know, I try to be as accurate as possible, or even conservative is what I always say, times 2.612 times, and we'll take the half off because it was kind of floating. So let's just see without the half. $376.25. $376.25. Let's just see what an average would be. Plus 379.06 equals, divide that by 2 equals 377. So let's just call it that we're somewhere around 377. $6.5. Oops, sorry about that. I guess I can move that up a little farther. All right, now what I want to do, that was 700-inch lift. Let's go ahead and add another. Let me get this over here. Let's go ahead and add another 100. So we can make it 800. Close enough. Oh, we're almost to Colbine. Okay, 800. Let's see if that even makes a difference. Sometimes a higher number won't flow as much. because it's already outflowed. So we'll just see what this does. Alright, kind of the same deal. We ended it with a half again, so we'll do that. We'll do an average deal again. So I'm gonna have to cross over that one number. So we got 3.7, 0.65 with the 5, and 215. So I need to cross this number over. So we come back over here, we find 3.7, we go across the 28 inch. We're doing this on 28 inches. I can do it on 10, 15, 25, and 28. So I go to 28 inches at 3.7, and it's 2.744. So now we're at 2.744. My scribble, 2.744. All right, let's see what we come up with. I'm gonna try to do it without holding the, I think I can do it like this. There we go, that might be easier for me. All right, clear that. So we have 215 times 2.744 times 0.65 and a half, 0.65 and a half. Where's my pen? Up here. Equals 386.42. 386.42. Okay, let's do it without the, now let's go 215 times 2.744 times 0.65 equals 383.47. 383.47 plus 386.42 equals that. Divide that by 2 equals 343.94. 384. I said I'm dyslexic, ain't I? 384.94. All right, so that's at 800. Let's see, 0.800. All right, so we're still, I wonder if this calculator will work if I went minus 450 equals. So I still gotta find 65 CFMs. Or close to that. I don't know. It's gonna be a challenge. For sure. Alright guys, I know that takes a little while doing it like that. If you're doing it yourself and everything, I'm not doing the video and all that, it's pretty quick, it's pretty simple. Sometimes I don't even have to I don't write down the numbers because I only have to remember 2 numbers. Because these numbers are written over here. So that's the only ones I have to remember. And so I can do it really quick when I'm by myself and just doing stuff. But going back to the flow numbers, It's really not bad. 377 and 384. Another big difference between 7 and 8 though on that part. I haven't really went in and you could look at that. It's probably a little bigger than it looks. Okay. It's not a whole lot of difference. Yeah, what is that? 9 CFM or whatever. So, what I was saying was I went off track, didn't I? I didn't measure any cross-sectional areas or anything like that. I'm just trying to get the CFM. But I got, like I say, 70, 65 more CFM. And we don't want to break through anywhere. This port here, if you guys remember it flowed 421. But I broke through the top, and so I have putty up there so it doesn't leak when I'm flowing it. I broke through the side, the push rod side a little bit, so I had to putty that a little bit so it won't leak. But it's huge. That thing is not even the same shape as this. Well, if you look real close, you won't be able to see, but it goes all the way, probably almost like a little over 100 thousandths from the valve cover rail. That's how high I got the port. So even to run that port, you would have to have a gasket made, an intake would have to be modified. So that was just more of it was a fun deal. A guy had asked me if we can get 400, okay, out of it, and I went crazy on it. This is back in 2000, I think it was 2020 when I started on it, and then last time I touched that port was probably 2023 or 2024, but somewhere in there, and we got it to 421. Yeah, but it's just massively sick. I mean, you can walk through that port. So this other one's keeping, as you can see, is trying to keep the actual shape, but huge. Okay. It's a little bit bigger than the stock port. It's hard to tell with the clay on there, but yeah. So, and doing something like this. Normally, a lot of guys don't touch the floor, but since we're after CFM, and this is never going to be put on a vehicle. I mean, this head is already, I use it for experimental and stuff, so it's not going to be put on anything. I got the advantage of using the floor to pick up more CFM, because the floor will still give you CFM because you are still getting the whole port. It just may be slower. It doesn't have the velocity, but I can gain still some CFM. The floor does move, okay, but of course it's slow. So that was the cool thing about, some guys would say, oh, put the stuffer in there, because guys always put stuffers in and they still have big numbers. But the floor, this is what, it's kind of not really confusing, but you got to look at it a little differently. Guys are claiming, oh, I get 370, 380 with a 1/4 inch or 3/8 block, stuffer in there. But all the testing I've done with stuffers and without stuffers, I can put a stuffer in there and you really don't lose. The floor doesn't have, it's not like it's got a billion CFMs down there. So putting that little stuffer only this far in, let's say, and that thick, you may only be messing with a few CFM. You make up that when you open the pinch area, raise the roof, you get it all back. So it's really not like, I did something great. I got big CFM with a stuffer. Those guys that are getting big CFM with stuffers, they are still opening the pinch area alone on these heads. Once you open it, you pick up CFM, okay? And, but I do grant you that the stuffer does speed up the velocity. Okay, so it does that, but at the same time, if you open the top all the way to where you break through, well, of course you're going to have big, even if you don't break through, but you open a lot up in here, and then you open that pinch area way up, that stuffer doesn't mean nothing. Okay, it didn't mean nothing. So don't let that kind of fool you. That stuffer's not that big, all right, and it's only taking a few CFM. I mean, you can take it the way you want, but every testing I've done, if I put a stuffer in, okay, and have it in, I can start moving it somewhere else and I get the CFM right back. You can still get big CFM with the stuffer, or you take it out and you get even more CFM, but you may slow down your velocity, okay? So right now with the 450 we're after, I want no stuffer because I want that extra few CFMs, okay, that stuffer may take up what, even though you can get it back by going up or out with the pinch area. So I'd rather just leave it out and you'll get your CFM. You gotta turn more RPM when you're doing that though, right? And that's part of the game, you know? And so, anyway, that was pretty good. All right, so we're in the 380s at 800. So all the tests from now on will be at 800 plus. I'm not gonna, probably won't do any more sevens, okay? 700 lift. I'm just gonna stay with the 800. And I think that book and everything that started this whole challenge, I think they were using 800 or 850. I'll have to go back and look. But so if I can keep it at 800 to 850 and get that 450, then I think we're doing really good. Because there's guys that are, I've read, that are getting like 300 in the 390s, and they're using 900 to 1 inch lift. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and just keep hogging. I mean, it's big in there. Okay, I showed some still pictures on the group stuff. Pictures don't always show everything perfectly, but it's big in there. Okay, and I mean it's a lot of hogging, and but 65 CFM is a lot of CFM if you think about it. Okay, if this was just a stock, so just go from the stock 288 to get that first 65 CFM, it's quite a bit of work. But now we're running out of material, so it's going to be a close deal. I don't know. So I'll keep at it though. Like I said, next time I go, I'll go in there. I'll find in more areas. You know, we'll just keep messing with areas until we can get as close as we can. But I think it's a pretty cool challenge. Yeah, and that thing's moving air. I can feel it, you know, way out here. You know, I wonder if oh, and I got a new tool for doing the dicum. A friend of mine sent me a new little sprayer, and so I don't make all these big messes and stuff when I use dicum. And so I maybe next time use it on this one, or I maybe make another video with this one while it's set up and use it just to see where it's hitting. But I'm kind of curious if excuse me, if the floor is actually still, how it's still moving. Let me get a little drink of water real quick. Let's just see something real quick. Let me turn this fan off. Okay. Is definitely moving. Yeah, it's definitely moving. See if we can do a magic trick. I wasn't even ready. I was just starting to look in the camera and the paper was gone. Let's do it one more time. Let's see. That's cool. Very cool. All right. I guess I better not get my hair too close. Anyway, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it got the paper from down here. So it is pulling from the floor too. I enjoy using the flow bits, as you can see, and I don't mind doing little crazy stuff like that. Some guys are not going to mess with theirs in that sort of way, but you know, it's the way it is. Okay, so anyway, there we go, and I guess until next time. Anyway, I hope that was a good little informational video. Yeah, it's big. It really is. So anyway, okay, just like always, stay safe out there, and I'll get you on round two. Thanks, guys.